Welcome in, Proxies. Last week, we took a dive into one of the first and most well-known factions in the world of New Eridu, which was the Found Family Gentle House, also known as the Cunning Hares. But today, I wanted to take a look at Belobog Heavy Industries. They were slightly introduced at the end of the events of Chapter 1, but take the front stage for the events in Chapter 2, which, yes, this does mean that most of the information for this silly group of mechanics is going to be spoilers for Chapter 2 in-game. However, a lot of this information is displayed on the wiki page for the characters, so it's really a back and forth if you want to count it as spoilers or not. To mediate this issue, I will give a spoiler-free rundown at the start of each character, and then we'll state both audibly and visually when the spoilers will start to come in. That way, you can still get a nice rundown of the faction, but keep the emotional moments for when you play it yourself. Also, just to get this out of the way, no, this is not in any way, shape, or form connected to the Belobog from Honkai Star Rail. This has been confirmed by the producer in an interview that it was a complete coincidence, and any other similarity is also a coincidence. So far, they have no interest in connecting the game to the other Hoyo titles at this current time. Okay, enough with the warnings, let's get started. Belobog Heavy Industries is a group of hollow investigators focused on construction and smart AI for machines that can be used for in-hollow use while resisting ether corruption. This faction ranges from a young girl who tries her best to be a dependable friend, Koleda Belobog, a machine-obsessed woman who is so obsessed that she calls the machines her own children, Grace Howard, the smartest financial advisor, Ben Bigger, and finally, the absolute bro, that is Anton Ivanov. Let's dive into each of them for more details, starting with the president. The previous president of Belobog vanished due to a scandal involving embezzlement and fled, which severely shook the company, nearly driving it to the brink of collapse. Once Koleda came of age, she willingly stepped up to untangle the mess, rallying the remaining company workforce and resources to revive the financially and reputationally vulnerable Belobog Heavy Industries. With the help of new invaluable team members like Ben Bigger, Belobog eventually managed to regain its public image in certain areas of the city. She's a brash young girl who had to mature faster than her peers due to her past. Because of this, she hates getting childish remarks. She does seem to enjoy sweets quite a bit, however, but hides this fact, presumably due to thinking that it would give her a more childish aura. In her own words, "Just remember, I'm the perfect height for your shin bone, so you might want to reconsider before labeling me as childish." Koleda has amassed practical life experience and professional know-how, which is backed by her coworkers who treat her like family. The weapon she uses in battle is a rocket hammer and a large set of pliers, which she uses for stylish attacks she's learned from experience in hollows. The new Eridu citizen verification profile mentions that Koleda possesses good ether aptitude and is allowed to perform basic tasks like investigating and extracting resources in both known hollows and companion hollows. Both a doctor and fairy mention that young girls should limit their activity in hollows, as this could stunt their growth. However, there is not enough research by doctors to confirm that fact yet in lore. Now we're going to be entering into the spoiler phase for Koleda, so be warned. The previous president and founder of Belobog Heavy Industries was Horus Belobog, and was Koleda's father. Yep, you heard that right, which means yes, Koleda unfortunately had the opportunity to see her father as he ran out with a ton of money and knew that the rumors of him running while embezzling company funds were seemingly true. However, before this, they did seem to have a great relationship, and he is the reason Koleda has such a strong urge to work in construction and machinery. After his disappearance, she doesn't even like to consider him as her father, and keeps the fact that she saw him leave to herself. The rest of the story I will leave for you to play in Chapter 2 in-game. The main mechanic when it comes to fixing the AI on board the machines within Belobog. She's also the one that develops and patents new machinery. According to information at hand, Grace is the only one that can playfully call Koleda Sweet Pea without receiving a kick in the shin. Even in the middle of a fight, Grace can be seen pausing to think about the entire structure of a machine she finds interesting. This obsession has heightened to the point that she calls machines her children and genuinely treats them as such. The weapon she uses in battle is a burst nail gun and EMP grenades to cause electrical bursts. The new Eridu citizen verification profile mentions that Grace has good ether aptitude and is allowed to perform basic tasks like investigating and extracting resources in known hollows and companion hollows. In her young years, both of Grace's parents were Hollow researchers, who unfortunately disappeared during a dangerous Hollow expedition and were presumed dead. She soon got adopted by her parents' former friend. Now we're going to get into the spoilers for Grace Howard. The friend that she was adopted by was Horace Belobog, who she considered her uncle, which means that Grace and Koleda were raised together for a bit before his disappearance and consider each other as sisters. This explains why Grace and Koleda seem so close and have such cute interactions. Unfortunately, we do not get to see any interactions of them as a kid, but I am hoping that in the future that will change. After getting to know Grace, she does admit that she's not just in love with machines, but she's actually infatuated with the aspect of saving humans from having to go into hollows and saving their family the grief if something were to happen. Machines are a way to combat that. However, with the AI being so advanced, she wants the machinery to know that she wants them to be just as safe as she does others. The fluffy glasses-wearing cutie Ben Bigger. This big bear is not the only one of its Theron kind within Belobog Heavy Industries. In fact, there are tons of bear Therons within the company. Despite his mean-looking exterior, Ben is actually very sensitive and quite the sweetheart when it comes to interacting with others. Originally a frontline mechanical operator, his talents were noticed by Koleda, which led to his promotion to a managerial position that's responsible for the company's finances. Koleda saw how great he was at math and how much passion he had for it, and giving him this promotion causes Ben to have unwavering trust for her ever since. His favorite dish is caviar, but hates fish. If you noticed, it does appear that Ben had some sort of accident that made him lose his left eye, and while we have no idea what caused it, him having the scar does allow us to find him much easier in some art. With this knowledge, we can actually see that Ben was the one that was trying to do the bid for the old Metro project against Vision Corporation in Chapter 1. This makes sense in hindsight since, he does manage their finances, but it's still a cool little detail. His weapon is a handheld pile driver that packs an insane amount of punch. The new Eridu Citizen Verification profile mentions that Ben possesses outstanding ether aptitude and is allowed to perform basic tasks like investigating and extracting resources in known hollows and companion hollows. Based on the data, Ben's ether aptitude places him in the top tier at Belobog Heavy Industries. Coupled with his Theron traits, he is deemed highly suitable for long-term work within hollows. Unfortunately though, there is no information related to Ben's childhood at this time. Anton is a key member of construction staff at Belobog Heavy Industries, and one of Koleda's trusted aides. He was originally handpicked by the previous president of Belobog, which makes him one of the most senior members in the squad. This bro is full of energy and is always radiating it to others. Anton can be seen talking to his jackhammer pretty often and affectionately calls it bro, while also making it seem like it talks back. Due to his energy and passion for work, Anton is often the project manager for on-site construction projects. Like Ben, he is also a sweetheart and has a hard time saying no to those in need. His weapon is an arm-mounted jackhammer that can be infused with electric energy to create a massive drill head. The new Eridu Citizen Verification profile mentions that Anton possesses good ether aptitude and is allowed to perform basic tasks like investigating and extracting resources in both known hollows and companion hollows. Besides himself, Anton's bro does also possess relatively good ether aptitude due to the materials it was made with. Unfortunately, Anton also does not have any information on his past at this current time. But a little theory I can give you is that while we have no idea when Anton started calling his jackhammer bro, he may have started this as a coping mechanism after the disappearance of the previous president. No confirmation on this though, just a little theory I have. I know we had a lot less information on these individuals than we did with the Cunning Hares deep dive, but I saw a lot of people still wanted a video covering them for launch, so I wanted to do the best I could for now. As we get more information on factions, I will keep making updated deep dives into them as needed. But one final thing, for those that didn't see and are still around, I'm hosting a game show. It's called Fairy's Hollow Disaster. It's going to be a live game show based around Jeopardy with a few special twists and surprises. I have quite a large amount of CCs that are going to be joining, as you can see on screen, and I'm really excited to do this. During this game show, in between each round, which there'll be 3 rounds total, I'll be selecting one random chatter to win a Zenless Zone Zero Battle Pass on launch. This game show is going to take place on Saturday, June 29th at 3 p.m. CST. And normally I do stream on YouTube, but for game shows like this, I truly do feel like the chatting environment is much better suited on Twitch. So this is actually going to be streamed on my Twitch channel, which I'll have linked in the description below. The teams that we're going to have during this game show is Team Lore with Ashikai, Nor, and Ufi TV, Team Meta with Io, Smug, and J Nero, Team Charisma with Samazard, The Dave, and Soul, and finally Team Underdogs with Finn, Zeta Slow, and Whale Milk. The amazing art during this game show was all created by Lulu, which I will have linked in the description for their Twitter. I hope you guys are interested in tuning into this game show, and as always, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date to any Zenless news. Have a good one, Proxies.